Hey, welcome to our next tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about drippers, atomizers that are rebuildable such as tanks, and even some of the fancier ones that you've probably heard of like the K-Funds and your higher end devices like that. This is my Brass Monkey. It's American made, it's great quality, it's one hell of a tasty vape. Get me some rainbow on here. Alright, so today we're at RVA Vapes and we're checking out some of the new rebuildables. And these in particular that you're looking at are rebuildable dripping atomizers, or RDAs. There are a couple of different basic types, and most of it depends on the number of pegs or posts that you're looking at. First one you're looking at is an Omega clone. It's got 3 posts. The 2 outer posts that you see here and here are going to be your ground posts, and the center is going to be your positive. The one thing that makes this unique is it's got a very deep dish on it, which is good, but it's also bad at the same time because they drilled the air hole vents into that dish. So basically whatever cotton you're putting in there or wicking material, it's going to clog that up and it's going to reduce your airflow. It does come with a very cool muffler style drip tip, which is something that's unique among drippers. Now the next ones we got are all UD series, and UD is a great manufacturer of drippers and rebuildable tanks. First one we got here is the IGO W3, and this one, as you can see, is a 5-post configuration, so it's basically set up to run a quad coil on it. Doesn't mean you have to, it just means that they give you the space and number of posts to do so. In the top cap you can see that it's got holes and slits, and that's for your airflow adjustment. You use the holes over top of the little slits right here in the side of the dish if you want 2 little holes to reduce the airflow, or open it wide open with the slits on the side there. So that's the IGO W3. Then we come to the IGO W, which is the original, the standard of the series. This was the first one they came out with, and it's still an awesome little dripper. It's a 3-post setup, so you got the same as your Omega clone over there, but it's got a nice little lip to it, and it's got the posts actually drilled out. So that's an awesome feature because it allows you to be able to run the wire right in through the post. The cap goes on it like that. The only bad thing about this is there's got some really small airflow holes on the side there. So with mine, I actually drilled it out to about 5/64, which gave it the nice draw that I was looking for. Next is with the W4, which is the exact same inside as the W. They just changed the outer cap on it, so it's got a little sleeker look to it. It's got a little better heat vent on it, so that's kind of cool. So that's the main 3 drippers that we're looking at today. Now the last 2 down here are actually American made. Well, as you can see right there, this is the Patriot Authentic, made in the United States of America. Very nice, very good quality. It's got, the posts are a little closer to the center than the UDs are, which gives you a little bit more wiggle room as far as when you're building your coils, but you also can't use as long of a wrap on them. So anything past like a 7/8 is going to be a little difficult on the Patriot. But it comes with this cool cap on it right here. These nice heat vents that are machined into the top of the cap, which definitely allows you to have a much cooler tank. It's got small air vent holes on it, but it's good quality. It's made in the US. And as far as I'm concerned, it's one of the better drippers that are out there. Now the last one you got is actually, you can see it's already got a build on it, and I'm going to walk you through that build here in a minute, but this is the Brass Monkey. This is another American made. This one has got adjustable airflow ring around the center. Right here, you can see it spinning. So you can open it up from one little bitty hole all the way to the 3 big holes that they've got drilled in here. 3 holes right there, and you can close it all the way down to 1 if you want to. And it actually comes with a separate brass cap that's got a single hole drilled into it. What makes this one my favorite is that, as you can see, it's got a dual center post there. So it makes it much easier to work with, much better contact, I feel like. And you could quad this up without much problem whatsoever. Very well made. It's a US device, so it's going to cost you a little bit more. I think we at RVA Vapes sell them for about 80 bucks, but it comes with 2 caps. It's American made, and again you got the dual center post, so that's a nice feature. Alright, so today we're going to do a little demo on how to wrap a dripper wrap the coils, insert the cotton, and set it up basically, so that if you bought one somewhere else, or if you want to come in and pick one up from us, if you want to learn to do it yourself, this video will show you how to. So we're going to start off, we're going to put the deck, which is the part with the post, we're going to screw that into our ohms meter. And this will show us what our resistance is on the coil. So I'm going to set this one up for right around 1 ohm. That way it'll work on pretty much any kind of device that we sell here. So you don't necessarily have to go mechanical to be able to use this. So I'm starting out with 30 gauge Kanthal. It comes with 32, but I found that 30 gauge is a little easier to work with and a little stronger because I have big fingers, so it's kind of hard to work with the small. So we're going to start out, I cut a couple of strips already. As you can see, probably about 4 or 5 inches. It's a little more than I actually need, but I'd rather have too much than not enough. So we're starting out, I'm going to grab it with my flat nose pliers here, and we're going to get all the impurities off the wire. So we're going to torch it. And basically all we're doing is heating it up so you can see red all the way up and down, and gets all of the leftovers from the machining process. It also makes it a little bit more malleable so that it's a little easier to work with, and will give you that nice tight coil that you're looking for. So I'm going to torch this guy, and then I would do the exact same thing with the other piece so that it gets it nice and clean and sanitary for vaping purposes. Alright, so now that we've torched our Kanthal wire, the most common way to wrap these that most people are going to use is a little electronic kind of computer screwdriver situation. The thing that you want to focus on is how big the diameter is of the actual shaft. So we here at RVA Vapes actually have a coil wrapping tool. It's handmade, it's got a nice sturdy handle on it. We sell these for like 10 bucks, but the thing about it is it's got a little smaller diameter shaft, and it's got the grooves in it so that you can slide your Kanthal right in there. Makes it a lot easier to work with. So for this one, for my 1 ohm resistance, I'm going to do what they call an 8/9 wrap. With this particular diameter, I need an extra wrap basically than you would on the screwdriver here because it's a little bit bigger in diameter. So my 8/9, I'm just going to slide it right in here, hold it down with the finger, and then just twist. Then once we get our wraps on there, we're just going to kind of squish it down a little bit. Not too much because we can fix it completely here in the next step, but just to give me a good starting point. So we're going to pop it out of the little groove here. And that is our coil. Now that we have our coil wrapped, we're going to press it. Now this is kind of a delicate process because I'm going to take my flat needle nose again that I used to originally torch my Kanthal, but I'm going to squeeze slowly as to not bulge the coil on one side or the other. So you keep it straight in line, it's much easier to run the cotton through, and you have a much lower chance of hitting your hot spots. And then we torch. And we're torching. And we're torching. And basically what I'm doing is I'm squeezing the coil and heating it up till it's nice and red hot, and it'll hold that nice little coil form for me. This is definitely more for the advanced vapor / pyrotechnic expert. Now, please remember, this is quite dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. And after you've heated a torch with metal pliers, it's really hot, so don't touch. I'll put this over here. Put this over here. Now, we've got our coils made. We've got our dish set up on our ohms meter. So now, all we got to do is put it together. So, now that we have our dish set up here, bring all the screws to the top, and you can see it's got the little holes that we're going to use to attach our leads. Take your first coil, slide it in the hole, that. And then we're going to take our other leg and attach it to the outer post. You can go outside post or inside post, or you can go outside post or center post first. It doesn't really matter. The key is to make sure that both your legs get in. It's usually a little bit better to leave one leg a little bit longer than the other. That way you're not trying to stick them both in simultaneously. There, you can get it through just like that. Now, next step is we're going to tighten the outer screw. The inner screw we're going to leave alone because we still have another coil to put through the other side. So, line it up. And torque her down, just like that. And then this is still free. But if you want to see how you're doing, and if you're close to hitting your goal of 1 ohm, just put a little down force on the center post and turn it on. And that's reading 5, so it's obviously not connected. There we go. 2.13, pretty close to where we want to be. So, for the second coil, you're going to do the same thing in reverse on the opposite side. Once we open that center post back up again, take this leg that we already have and get it out the way there. And then I'm going to stick through the outer side first, because there's already a coil in the middle, or a leg of the coil rather, and then use my last little bit right like so. Get it nice and lined up in there, and then again outer post first. But we do want to make sure that this coil is inside this lip right here. If it's not, it's going to heat up pretty bad, and you're gonna have a bad time. Now it's important not to over tighten these initial outer screws, because if you break the leg of the coil off before you fully attach it, you're gonna have to start all over, and that's no fun for anybody. So now that we have the outer leads secured, we're just going to tighten that center post down to go along with the others. Double check all of our connections again. And give it a flip. And there you have it, right at 1 ohm. This is going to fire on everything from a Vamo to a Provari. 1 ohm is good to go. Now the last step, as far as the coil building goes, is we're simply going to snip the ends of these leads off. So then we're just going to go along here and snip off the legs of all these leads. And that is your dual coil setup. Now, I'm going to show you guys how to thread the cotton through so that you'll have your wicking material ready to go. So you can buy organic cotton at CVS, pharmacy, Walgreens, any of that kind of stuff. Or if you can't find organic cotton, then all you have to do is go pick up some regular 100% cotton balls and boil them in hot water. Let them sit to dry for I think 24, 48 hours, something like that. And then you can use those, which is what these are here actually. So we're going to start out by unraveling the cotton. And we do this because you're going to have a much easier time threading it through your coil if you use the fibers linearly as opposed to just trying to rip a cotton ball in half and use it that way. So now that we've unraveled our cotton ball, take a chunk off here, and you can see the fibers are going this way. So we're going to just rip a little piece of that off here like this and twist it together. And once you got a nice tight cotton strand, all you're going to do is fish it right through the middle of those coils. Just like that. Tweezers, also a great tool for any vapor. Just grab the tail of this guy. Pull it through like that. Now we're going to take that cotton, tuck it right down underneath. take this leg here and tuck it right underneath that coil. And then take this top and do the exact same thing going the other way. And there you have it. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Once we get our cotton in there, all you got to do is saturate that cotton with your favorite RVA Vapes e-liquid and enjoy the vape.
Alright, now we're going to go through some of the rebuildable tanks that we have. Starting over here, we've got the K-Fun Light. It's an EH Pro clone. It's a great little tank, rebuildable tank. It's actually what I use on a regular basis. We have the AGA T2, a Genesis style tank, meaning that the wick actually goes through the deck and into the tank underneath. We have the AGA T3 here, which is a kind of variation of the T2. They did a lot different with this one as far as how the wick actually goes through it. We'll show you that in a minute. We have the AGA T4, which is a really pretty mod here, or device here, set up for dual coil. And then we have the AGI, which is actually really cool. It's basically a dripper and a Genesis style tank all in one. We can show you a little bit more about that. The K-Fun taken all apart into its individual components. You got a drip tip that actually screws on, which actually goes on top of the tank. We have a chimney, which actually breaks into two pieces. Yeah, I'm trying to... Bam. And then this is the deck that you actually build everything on. You see two posts here and your the pre-made coil that comes with it. This is the AGA T2. This is your deck area. You got a screwed fill hole right here, center post, negative post. This one's a little unique. It's got thumb screws for the center post, and the negative post actually has a kind of hole through, kind of like you see with most of the drippers nowadays. It's got an O-ringed top cap. This is the AGA T3. Got your top cap here. This one's kind of unique in that the wick actually goes down the very center hole there, all the way through the tank. The tank goes together like so. It screws on. Wink, wink, wink. And a little tanky thing goes in there. Bazinga, which actually offers you some juice flow control inside of there. This is the AGA T4, which is a really pretty Genesis style dripper or tank. The newest one. It's awesome. It's got a very innovative airflow system. The actual airflow holes are at the very bottom of the tank. And they actually go up through this center post here to come out directly onto your coils at the top of your tank. It's got a nice little brass shroud over the tank area, Pyrex glass tank. Everything kind of screws together. Screws together just like so. And you got your airflow holes that come out through from the bottom through the top directly onto your coils. As such, the actual top cap has no airflow holes in it because all the airflow is coming from the bottom. Alright, this is the AGI. It's actually pretty unique in the fact that it can be either a dripper or a Genesis style tank.
Don't drip and drive.
Don't drip and drive. That actually goes together. This is your Pyrex tank. The spring here is very important and it's very losable, so don't lose it. However, they were kind enough to provide you with two extras. So what happens is the center shaft here screws onto the base. That spring sticking out the top. Put your Pyrex glass on. And get your O-ring in place here. This part screws on right like so. The wick holes in the top here actually have screws that go inside them. They provide you with the hex key to actually screw those in. And this is the one we're going to be building. Example of a build on the AGI that I showed you a minute ago. And realistically, the concepts are the same between a dripper and this style of tank. However, there are a couple of differences. The main differences being these are your connections posts. The center one's your positive, the outside one is your negative. And you actually just wrap that coil that we built on the dripper around a piece of stainless steel mesh. That's what the wicking material is in this. Now you'll notice a little bit of cotton here at the top. That's actually something that I picked up by watching YouTube to help insulate the stainless steel from the electricity so that it doesn't actually short out. But this is a coil build on a Genesis style tank.
If you want to smoke, that's your business. But if you want to stop, that's ours. And come see us in Richmond, Virginia, RVA Vapes, 6100 West Broad Street.